Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse Daily Dose of AFA.
Where we bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing so you can start your day off the AFA way. And in case you've forgotten, we're going to tell you every day because I'll tell you what, I need to hear it. I need to hear this.
Oh, we all need to hear it. We need to hear it every single day. You're absolutely amazing exactly as you are. There is no need to change any single thing about you. You don't have to learn anything new. You don't have to change anything. You are absolutely amazing. Boom.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
I needed to hear that today.
Yes.
Life swirls and we forget at our core.
Oh, absolutely we do.
We let the people, places, things around us infiltrate in and, try to change
Well, I think
what's
about how
going
many
on to
things
bring our
we're
peace.
presented with on a daily basis, Sherry.
I know.
Oh my gosh, on our phones, on our computers, everything around us, all this stuff. We don't have the capacity to take all that in. So of course we get swirled around. Our brain patterns get all messed up because, hey, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. I got a quick story because this is a good one. And this is how your book has helped. Your book helped my daughter, who's 19. This is a great story.
Oh my God, I love that.
So my daughter, she graduated from high school last year, pandemic, with the mask, the whole 9 yards. She was supposed to go into the electrical union, but they she got a job, was going to become an apprentice, the whole 9 yards, but that kind of shut down because of COVID. So she took some time off and, was just really reflecting. And so she became a mailman. She was like, I got to do something. I'm going to deliver mail. Why not? Get out, get about, whatever. But anyway, so she became really overwhelmed with this is her first big job. And so she came to visit me a couple of weeks ago, completely stressed out. It was her only day off. Can you imagine? Her only day off. And she was like, I don't know what to do. It's my only day off. Everyone wants a piece of me. So her boyfriend wanted to do something with her. Everyone wanted to do it. And she goes, I can't possibly meet everyone's expectations.
No.
Right? So it was like, and I was like, honey, you're absolutely fucking amazing exactly as you are. You don't have to. You just need to go in. This is about you deciding how you want to spend your day, not about how anyone else wants you to live your life, not about how anyone else should use your time. This is about you living your best life and making decisions. So this book helped her, like in just a short amount of time, helped her to reflect. Living a life you love, you can't even see it, but I'll tell you what, you have to create that life. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to give you tips and tricks and hugs and nugs.
Yeah. Listen, it's your life.
Yeah.
Not anybody else's. No. You get to decide exactly what you want to do in every single moment. Although you think you don't have much choice in the matter, you have ultimate choice in the matter. So let's talk about the daily love.
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning, Beth.
Everyone needs some love. We're here.
Yeah.
We're here to
daily love. So today I pulled from, again, Conversations with God, because it's one of my favorite books of all time by Neil Donald Walsh. And in this one, Neil has asked the question, well, what is this thing about relationships? Because I've always struggled with relationships. Why are they so hard? Why? And God's answer was pretty simple. And, there's a whole chapter to it, but I'll tell you, here's what the gist of the matter is God says to Neil, you must first see yourself as worthy before you can see another is worthy. You must first see yourself as blessed before you can see another is blessed. You must first know yourself to be holy before you can acknowledge holiness in another. And so God goes on to share, all of how it's all about self-love and living a self-centered life, because it all emanates from you loving yourself first.
Yes.
And in the end, God says it is not in the action of another, but in your reaction that your salvation will be found. And so relationships are this grand opportunity to see ourselves.
Oh boy, absolutely.
Yeah.
So think about this, right? So if we all have that spark of
Yeah.
creation in us.
Mhm.
We're all connected by that thread, right?
Yeah.
That we all carry part of the divine with
Mhm.
us. So one of the things that I really learned too was that, when people say, oh, if you're not putting God first, you're putting God last. So I
Mm.
want people to reframe that just a little bit, and just to think about that. If
Mhm.
we have a spark of love, of God, of spirit, of divine, or whatever you want to call it, inside of who we
Mhm.
all are. So
Mhm.
just think about it. When you love yourself,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You're
Yeah.
loving that divine part of you. You're
Yeah.
loving that God. You're loving that spirit.
Yeah.
And in essence, when you love yourself, you're loving others because you're showing them how to
Exactly.
do it.
And part of this reading, it was that God says, "I've sent so many masters and so many people to tell you the message is this, not that I am holier than you. It's that you are as holy as I am, every single one. It didn't matter what religious tradition, what, specific person it was. That was always the message."
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, this all comes down to self-love. And that's really in the book that I wrote, that's all it was about was self-love, getting to a point in relationship, especially. It wasn't until, and this is like only in 2019, it wasn't until I truly, absolutely loved myself that I could actually love someone else.
There you go.
Because before
Mhm.
then, I was looking to other people to provide me with love so that I felt worthy, right? So my worth was dependent on how much you loved me.
Yeah.
And that expectation, how much pressure is that for
That's a
someone?
lot of that's a lot of pressure.
And they don't, I mean, it's not that I was aware of this consciously, but that's what was manifesting. I needed that other person to love me in order for me to feel love for myself.
There you
And
go.
so as soon as that was gone, and I'm able to sit in this space of self-love, and I am absolutely amazing, and so are you. When you get to that space of self-love, oh, relationships change completely because everybody else is free to be themselves, and you don't have any expectations.
But it's a
Oh,
process. It is
it
such a
is.
process.
Yeah, listen, it was, 35, 40 years of self-help stuff and therapies and, all different things that all got mashed together into this,
Well,
process that I used to get there.
yeah, so just think about that too. So what you did was you took all I did too. You take all these
Yeah.
classes, these learning, these
Yeah.
alternative healing, these spiritual courses, and then what
Mhm.
happens is you have this head full of knowledge.
Yeah.
And then what we need to do is you need to ground it into your body so you can
So
embody
true.
it and live
Yeah.
it. And the only way to embody and live it is to be involved in life.
Yeah.
In order for us to evolve, we must get involved. And I'm
Yes.
going to tell you, and that's
Yes.
hard. That can be hard for people that have a little bit of agoraphobia. So that's so,
Yeah, of
but
course.
that right. So you can think about people that don't want to leave their home. They don't want to
Mhm.
engage in life. They feel really safe. You feel really safe in your
Social
home, being
anxiety,
yeah.
general anxiety. I mean, there's a lot of that prevalent today
But
because of what we've been through with the pandemic, right? So, yeah, there's a
the
lot of that.
healing, the healing happens in our interactions with people.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. That's how
Mhm.
how do we show up in the world, and how do we interact with people to help them become the best version of ourselves while we remain powerful and loving, not
Yes,
hurting ourselves or anyone else.
that's right.
You
So,
taught me
what
that,
does that mean
Mark.
today? Live a self-centered life. Be
Listen,
self-centered today. It's Wednesday, March 31st, 2021, the last day of March, the only March 31st, 2021 we get. Be selfish today. Be self-centered. It's okay.
and think high thoughts. Think high thoughts. This is going to lead into
Oh,
Wellness
we
Wednesday, right?
woo!
We bring it all into
Oh, we're
cannabis.
bringing, we're gonna be euphoric today. We're
There it is.
excited.
We are. So we are totally rethinking. So Wellness Wednesday, wise wisdom for wellness.
Mhm.
Mark and I do this every single day because we're here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. So
Right.
we've changed that whole word of
Mhm.
high, H for hope, I for inspiration,
Mhm.
G for growth, and H for healing.
Right, it all
So
starts with hope.
yeah. So Mark, we're rethinking that euphoria as a side effect. Really? Is
Yeah,
it a right? So euphoria. Let's talk about that. What does that mean?
right. Oh, hey, let's go with it. So the word euphoria is a compilation of the Greek words EU, meaning good or well, and pharaoh, meaning to bring or to bear.
Right.
So, Cherry, is euphoria a bad adverse side effect?
Well, you need to think about this, right? It's
Right.
often listed as a side effect of both prescription
Hmm.
drugs, opioids, and cannabinoids.
Right.
But we need to ask ourselves some really, really important questions.
Hmm.
Just think about this.
Yeah.
What is so bad about having feelings of intense happiness, pleasure, and well being?
Well, hell, I strive for those every day. I don't know about you, but hell, that's what I'm looking for. Yes.
Yeah, me too. And what is
Right.
wrong with, here we go, blissful emotion,
Mhm.
the
Right.
full embodiment of having gratitude?
Right.
Euphoria is so deep, right? That
Yep.
everything makes us feel okay. You
Yeah.
feel okay being in your skin. I'm crying tears of joy. When myself and other patients that we've
Yep.
worked with have reported that cannabis brought them hope first. The tears of
It's
joy were
hope.
the
It's hope
tears
that
of
it's gonna
hope.
be all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a
Yeah.
good one too. Here's a good
Yeah.
question that came up is,
Mhm.
so think about this. What is the force of this master plant that inspires poets, but
Mhm.
seems to scare so
Yep.
many different people off, such as government, medicine, and many places of worship? Right.
Well,
And
of
we,
course, because if people are happy, they're not necessarily gonna be controlled as easily, right?
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, medieval religious prejudices viewed ecstasy or bliss in two ways. Now, listen, this stuff gets handed down. Boom,
Mm,
boom, boom, boom. Stories, feelings, genetics, even epigenetics. It's handed down, right? So,
yeah.
these religious prejudices. So euphoria in the form of fun or of a voluptuous nature was considered a sign of the devil or demonic possession, especially in women. Oh
God
my gosh,
forbid.
women were
God.
blissful. Ooh, there was trouble to be had,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, so so it's all, the perception consciousness, how
Right.
these different themes are brought down from generation to generation to generation. And even with cannabis as medicine,
Hmm.
right? Medical professionals, just think about this, was a long time ago in the 18th and 19th century.
Hmm.
Medical professionals viewed euphoria as a negative state. They thought you
Right.
were possessed. Right? They called it a
Yeah.
possession of the central nervous system. And
Right.
then bring tying it into women.
Uh-huh.
This is horrible. I don't like this at all, but it needs
Yeah.
to be talked about. Women were mostly affected by this condition,
Hmm.
and the men created the diagnosis of hysteria,
Oh,
which
of
is a
course.
term, which is term based on the Greek word
Hmm.
hysteria, which means uterus or womb. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you think about that, and
Labels, baby. Labels.
total
Awful.
labels. So
Yeah.
God forbid we feel good, and here we
I
are as
know. Well, listen, some of the religious, some of the religious viewpoints around euphoria were a little bit different, right? Because you have an extraordinary perception of a more immaculate nature was thought to be a vision from God, right? The
yes.
euphoric visions of Bernadette led to
Yes,
her canonization and the establishment of the sanctuary of Our Lady of Lourdes in France.
there
So
you
there
go.
was, there's this dichotomy of, on one hand, if it's euphoric and it has to do with religion and God, yay, yay, God. But if it's euphoria in any other way, well, that's the devil.
Yeah, right. And
Welcome
so
to
here we are. We all
consciousness.
deserve to feel good, right? And
Yeah.
Mark and I speak about this all the time. We
Uh,
actually lectured at the American Cannabis Nurses Association, and our topic
yay,
was
CNA.
ACNA. Boink.
Boink.
Spirituality is the root of cannabis
Mhm.
care, right?
Yeah.
So it's just another way, flipping the switch. We think about, when we are as practitioners in the general system, we focus on body parts, symptoms, disease processes, drugs. If we're lucky, we get to the mental, emotional part. And
Mhm.
rarely do we ever tap into spiritual health with our patients. So
Right.
now, as cannabis nurses, we are kind of flipping that coin over and reaching people's spirits first, touching,
Right.
tapping in, connecting to that heart, to that
Yeah.
God part of them,
Uh-huh.
and bringing them in through information and education.
Traditional Western medicine, though, calls that woo-woo. So
I'm all
that's
about the woo.
woo-woo, Sherry. That's just woo-woo. Can't be scientifically proven. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Okay. So anyway,
I know. I completely agree with
I
you. And
can have an
here's the
opinion
thing.
on that, boy.
You, of course, you can have an opinion, and I've heard, I've heard people, and this is interesting too, because of all of the different experiences that I've had, the
Yeah.
different healing modalities that we've
Mhm.
incorporated and learned. I've heard other people say, you don't want to turn other medical professionals off. You might be stepping across the boundary of something that is
What
not
boundary?
proven. Right?
Yeah, not
Exactly.
proven.
So here, exactly.
Please.
So
They hang
here,
their
here.
hats on little evidence, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. Well, here it is all truth is truth, but all truth is not yours and mine. And here it is.
Right.
Belief is outside of us. Truth
Yes.
is experience, and our truth can change over time as we
Sure can.
change.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I never argue truth with people because you know
No.
what? It's, it's okay. This is
Yeah.
what you believe. This is what you experience. I'm never going to ever try to convince you otherwise.
Exactly, and I don't get angry when I talk to people who have a negative bias towards cannabis. I
Mm-mm,
understand that they
neither.
suffer from cognitive dissonance. It's a
Yes.
psychological phenomenon, very well known, and that is that when somebody has a firmly held belief, I mean, it's rooted in whatever they've been told. It's not something they're born with, but they're told and they believe this to be true. They will firmly, firmly defend that belief against all things, even new evidence to the contrary. And I
Yes.
always go back to hey, the world was flat for a long time. And I'm sure there were a lot of people around who defended that flatness of the world, even after Magellan circumnavigated this round globe we live on, right?
Right.
Nobody
Right.
can nobody can say today that the world is flat. It's round. We know it. It's just known that's the new truth, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
here it is too. And so no one can, you can't say that cannabis is bad because same thing.
Irrefutable evidence.
There's way too much evidence.
Absolutely. And
So
not just recent. This is like 50 plus years of evidence.
yeah, for a long, long time.
Mhm.
So I really I was picking through a couple of my favorite books, and
Yeah.
Dr. Hugh Bleshing, he wrote the Cannabis Health Index of medical cannabis with mindfulness
Mhm.
techniques to help manage symptoms of chronic illness. So
Mindfulness
he's
is my ass.
yes, and
Mhm.
he's really, really interesting because he does bring in spiritual principles to
Yeah.
every single diagnosis and every single symptom, and he brings cannabis into it. And so he looks at
Right.
spiritual principles. So his definition is euphoria may be experienced as a mental, emotional, and spiritual response.
Mhm.
Duh. How cool is that, right? The
Yeah.
plants, right? Duh, duh, duh. It works on our mind, our bodies, and our spirits all at the same time.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so patients have reported, how we'll go through the list. There's so many different
Yeah.
descriptions that
Mhm.
patients have reported as to what euphoria means to them.
Right. Right.
And I'll just tell you probably the best one that my mother stated to me was she says, the pain became background noise. The pain
Mhm.
became background noise, and I
Mhm.
wasn't so grumpy anymore. Right?
Yeah.
That was her explanation of euphoria. Wow.
Right.
As simple as
Right.
that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Candy wants to know the name of the book and the author.
Oh, Dr. You Blushing. Let me see. I have it right here. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
I
morning,
have
everybody, by the way. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. I see old friends and new friends.
Look at
Yes.
this book.
Good to see you all.
I have a huge library of cannabis books, plant books, and entheogenic books and spiritual books, and they're all around my office. And so this is probably one of my favorites, the Cannabis Health Index, combining the science of medical marijuana with mindfulness techniques to heal over 100 chronic symptoms. This is I really love this book. Just
Ooh,
different.
hey, Food Network's are gonna launch a cooking cannabis show, Teresa said, called Chopped 420. Hey, listen, Thanksgiving will never be the same. Tell you
No, it
right
won't.
now.
Well, it already has been like
I know.
amazing.
All right, back
Yeah.
to Euphoria. Here we
Back to
go.
euphoria. We get
Yeah.
distracted. Okay, so patients have reported and described euphoria as being, I like
Yep.
this, a
Yep.
peak experience providing flow. Okay,
Yeah.
and when you go with the flow, what are you
Mhm.
doing? You're grounded, you're present, you're mindful, you're engaging in the activity as it
Mhm.
is here and now
Yeah.
without any of that background noise trying to get in.
Uh,
So, flow experience.
yeah.
How about
Next
the
one.
next one?
It's an extraordinary state of consciousness. Yeah.
Heightened awareness.
Right. Yeah. A moment of bliss.
A sense of majesty. So you ever get into that space where you just
Yeah.
feel majestic, connected to everything?
Yeah. Now, some people might say you're bipolar, but don't listen to them. Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay to be blissful. Trust me.
Okay.
All
Well, that's
right.
what they named the molecule, our own internal endogenous cannabinoid that mimics THC is called anandamine.
Right.
And anandamine is the Sanskrit word for
For
bliss.
bliss.
So
Yes.
here you go. No more stigma around what it means to feel good because we make a bliss molecule. We deserve to feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah. All right.
A brush with
Ooh,
spirit. Oh my
yeah.
God. The
Oh,
spirits come alive. I find with cannabis,
mhm.
the physical world and the spiritual world, the veil gets very, very thin. And I can connect more,
Mhm.
with the other side, a lot richer and a lot deeper, and provides a lot more insight. So the
Mhm.
brush with spirit truly is another one.
Yeah. Touch of soul, rich with substance and sustenance.
Yes. Life becomes richer and deeper because
Oh, yeah.
you're not just on the
Mhm.
I feel on that gerbil wheel going round and around and around.
Yeah.
Cannabis opens up so many different doors
Mhm.
for other different healing modalities. And I never even knew that existed before. And here's the reason why is because my mind was open.
Yep.
Consciousness, cannabis improves neuroplasticity in our brain.
Mhm.
So we can connect the dots in different ways and be open to new, rich experiences.
Yes.
So
Yeah. 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 So listen, is it a bad side effect or an adverse effect, Sherry?
no, it's not like a skin rash or nausea, right?
Right.
Think about
Right. And so when
Euphoria.
we judge somebody for being euphoric, we're stepping into ego.
Yeah. And our ego wants to make us wrong, wants to make us sad, wants to keep us stuck, doesn't want us to change,
Judge,
wants to keep
judge, judge.
exactly.
Mhm.
And as nurses, we talk
Yeah.
about this every single Monday. The
Yes, we do.
National Council, state boards of nursing came up with 6 essential areas of clinical knowledge for nurses
Mhm.
when it comes to cannabis.
Yep.
And the 6th one says this: the nurse shall not judge the patient. So
Not
there's no
judge.
judging. Exactly.
That's right, because the essence of nursing is caring, not judging.
Right.
Mhm.
And so here we go.
Yeah.
Judgments are what? Irrational when we consider those expansive experiences of so many different patients,
Right,
including ourselves, right?
right. And cannabis
Spirituality.
yeah. And so cannabis can and does quickly shift neurological and psychological pain and can elicit the expansive effect that is associated with a therapeutic potential.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a good one too. So it's a master plan. The more I'm reading, we've got all
Mhm.
these different books and we're exploring different healers,
Yep.
the medicine hunter. It's a master plant. It's an adaptogen that works on
Right,
all systems all at the
right.
same time. And the reason why is because we have that endocannabinoid system, the
Yeah.
umbrella concept. All of our bodies are interconnected. The endocannabinoid system regulates all of it, all of it. So
Mhm.
back to euphoria.
Yeah. What does Dr. You Blessing say about it?
He says euphoria is the most underrated, underutilized, and
Prosecuted.
prosecuted.
Force of healing.
Yes,
Yeah.
euphoria is the most underrated, underutilized, is prosecuted force of healing, transformation, and transcendence known to humankind.
Yeah.
Transform, transcend, heal.
Right. So seeking euphoria is an intrinsic behavior of humanity.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's a behavioral constant. We
Mhm.
all want to feel good. Gonna say that
Right.
again. Say
Yeah.
it's okay for me to feel good. I am feeling good. I am choosing healthy activities to feel good. So
Yeah.
here we have these biases, these prejudices, these moral
Uh-huh.
judgments. And what does it do? It serves to frame the pleasure of euphoric bliss as pathology. Feeling blissful is not a pathological condition.
Right. Right. No
Right.
matter what's been said over the many, many years, but it's not true. So listen, we're not human beings are not the only ones who strive to feel euphoric, right?
Right.
Animals do too, Sherry. Give us a few
Exactly.
examples of this. These are great.
Oh my God, these are really fun. So
Yep.
animals. So, and we talked about this also at Christmas time. So Siberian reindeer, this is really cool, of North
Mhm.
American caribou, they actively seek the magic mushrooms that are called the Annata muscaria. It's the legendary red mushroom with the white
Mhm.
dots on it. And these reindeer feed on them until they reach altered states. So, think about it. They make these unusual noises and they move around and their snouts begin to twitch and they wander around, in the woods swaying. And so we've talked
Yep.
about reindeer and magic mushrooms over the holidays. So these animals seek
Mhm.
out the euphoric feeling.
Right, right,
What about the
exactly.
elephants and monkeys? We got elephants and monkeys
Durian
too.
fruit. They'll eat as much as they can until they're drunk, and at which point, of course, they're gonna lie down and move in slow motion, and when the effects wear off, they go straight back for the durian fruit again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
another one too. In the United States, there's certain birds,
Mhm.
right? When the cherries become ripe and they begin to ferment on the trees, these birds flock to these trees and they feast and gorge themselves on these cherries until they fall to the ground. And if
Right,
they, left alone, they return for more as soon as their faculties allow them to do
right.
so, you know.
Mhm.
So
Yep,
yeah, so animals are seeking out pleasure, you
right.
know, and
Yeah,
bliss and euphoria. And if they find some substance that they like, they consume it,
right.
which brings us to the age-old question.
There it is.
Take drugs.
Why do people take things to alter their state, right?
Well, here's the thing. It is
Mhm.
easily argued that the quality of our emotions determines the quality of our lives. And that has to even do, if you think about it, even with pregnant women, healthy mama, healthy baby, right?
Right, right. Absolutely.
And
So,
so,
so here it is. Using drugs or any activity that produces the way we want to feel is a form of emotional self-regulation. So, when somebody's depressed, what do they give them? Primarily in Western
antidepressants,
tradition, they give them
antidepressants.
drugs to change
Yeah,
the way that they feel, right? To alter those chemicals, those neurochemicals, because that's what the predominant thought is in mental health is that there's an imbalance in these neurotransmitters, right?
right. Yeah,
We don't actually know if that's true or not. We think it is, but we can measure things. And so, yeah, so that's what we do. We take the drugs to feel better, right?
take the drugs. Yep.
Mhm.
So here's the bigger question, what kind
Yeah.
of this is where we turn it back around when we're working with patients.
Uh-huh.
What's important to you? How do you want to live your life? What kind of an emotional life are you truly looking to live? Right.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Symptom management. So if you think about patients that
Sure.
have chronic pain and euphoria, so a lot of patients that have chronic debilitating pain, chronic myofascial pain,
Mhm.
intractable pain where nothing works, when
Right.
they seek that euphoric nature, it's a freedom for pain and an expansion of well-being for just a short period of time. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
um, and that's okay. And so then the thing that's interesting too, so these traditional pharmaceuticals are like
Mhm.
band-aids, right? They're
Mhm.
band-aids. They may seek to relieve pain for a short amount of time, but then what
Right.
happens, we know they need more and more and more. So
Mhm.
cannabis, on the other hand, can relieve that pain,
Yeah.
provide a sense of euphoria, and start to work on the entire body, the endocannabinoid system. So,
Absolutely.
so it's a
Yeah.
win-win-win for all different areas of our body.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So here we go. So what do we do as cannabis nurses?
What do we do as cannabis nurses? The very first thing we do as cannabis nurses is we educate and empower patients
Mhm.
to make best choices for them. We ask them those questions. What's important? How do you want to live your life?
Yep.
How do you want cannabis to work in your life? What kind of a
Mhm.
transformation are you looking for cannabis to provide? And we ask the questions, have you been stigmatized by cannabis prohibition? What are your views on it? And basically, we never shame or judge patients. We want them to feel
No.
good. We want them to understand. We guide them on a journey. It's
Mhm.
truly, right? It's truly about relieving suffering, improving quality of life so you can live your
Yeah.
best life.
Yeah. All right. So what do we got going on today? It's Wacky Wednesday.
Okay,
Wild
wacky
Wednesday. We got a
Wednesday.
lot going on.
We got a lot going on. So, today from 4:20 to 6:20 p.m. at In the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio, we have our Canna Talk segment. We also have Danielle Simone Lebrand, who wrote the Weed Mom. She
Mhm.
wrote a really great book. We had her on our show last year,
Yeah.
and she's going to come on and talk to us all about her story and what made her write that book. So she's a
Mhm.
really, really positive one. And then we have a really good one coming up tonight.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have so at 8 p.m. tonight on Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse podcast,
Uh-huh.
we are interviewing the medicine hunter. And his name is Chris Kelham. And he's
Mhm.
been traveling the world using studying plants, entheogens, and the healing potential. So we're going to talk about his book called The Lotus and the Bud.
Yep.
It's cannabis, consciousness, and yoga practice. And so this is going to be
Mhm.
really great for Mark because Mark's a yogi as well. So he's going to be a great interview
Oh,
tonight.
it's gonna be fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Absolutely.
And then
So,
we have our shows the rest of the
yep.
week, and then Frequency Friday for energy healing.
Mhm.
It all ties in. High vibes. I want you all to feel good.
Oh, yeah. We want you to feel that euphoria.
Yeah, and so we have some comments out
Absolutely.
there before we reach off. I was looking at
Yeah.
some people that comment.
Mhm.
All the words up there. I want to say hello to everyone, whoever is out there. I can see Canna Equity and Equality out there. Just wanted to say hi to everyone and thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Teresa, Candy,
Oh, yeah.
Teresa, Robin. Wow,
Tons.
Jamie. Hey,
Denise. Oh, yeah.
Jamie, Denise,
Mhm.
Carrie Lee's out there. I know
Robin.
Carrie Lee's in bed. I know she's in bed watching. She just hasn't said hi yet. And
Yeah. All
yeah,
right. So, today, March 31st, 2021, the only one you got. Make a difference today. Remember, self-centered. Okay.
euphoria, self love.
Self-love, euphoria.
Listen, when you
Grab
love
it.
yourself, you're loving me, and I want to feel your love. Right? So
Yes,
love yourself.
that's right. That's right. So I'm going to have an AFA day. I hope
Me
you
too.
do too. And Sherry, what's it all about?
It's about living your best life and helping others do the same.
That's right. All right, folks. We'll see you later on. Thanks for stopping.